password looks. Then there is Debbie. It's a high school sweetheart, you know, nothing is knockout look, very good looking, adaptable and lovely, easygoing. But her social skills also, and also her intellect is so-so. Then grandfather is getting old, mother is bugging you to get married. This is happening to me. I'm still, you know, my mom every day says, "When are you going to get married?" I said, "Mom, I'm the oldest son, and all my brothers younger than me, they're all married, you know, and have children." And so I think this situation applies. And honestly, 1 year I went home and I had 3 pictures. I said, "Dad, you know, Tom, you know, these are 3 girls I'm considering." Like, yeah, this one, you know. And my dad said, "Son, you know, you're not ready, you know." That's funny. I said, "You know, this one is very good looking. But this one, you know, oh God, if I could put her head on this girl's body and her intellect." So I was trying to combine these 3 persons, you know. So this is a real me. I went through this a few times. Now this person has to make this decision. So what this method is called screening method. It's a very simple method for decision making. There are many methods we use, and later on when you take like 602 class, 402 class, we talk about project and decision making. So you got to come up with criteria. As I said, he came up with what is important. So in decision, you always have to come with criteria. Like I'm looking for a property, I have to come up location, price. These are the criteria you have to consider. So this person criteria that was important to this person was the physical appearances, intellectual knowledge of person, adaptability, future earning power. You know, he wanted to make sure, you know, his wife can make money, and perceived home making capability. So it's probably a foreigner, you know, this person, because he cares about food, you know. So I personally don't care as much about if she's going to be a good cook or not. Then social abilities. So this is a very simple and very powerful decision-making process. This technique been in place for many years, and the easiest technique. First thing you have to do is give weighted factor to each criteria. What is the most important from 1 to 10? So looking at this weighted factor, what is the most important to this guy? Looking at that, what is the most important thing? Part of it is like me. I mean, he cares about the looks. You know, out of 10, he said 9. I remember years ago, I said, I always tell my parents, I said, she have to be really, really good looking. Then over the years, my attitude changed, because with the look, it comes, you know, the person not to being so easy and other issues. So you cannot have the whole thing. If I knew this technique, maybe I should have tried this method a few years ago when I had, you know, choices. So for him, physical appearance and social ability is the most important factor. What is the least important to him? Yeah, so looks like he want to have a good-looking wife that is socially really good, and he doesn't care, you know, that if she's very smart or not, you know. So these are the factor that was involved. So then he rated. So like what we get from here. Apparently, Lisa is the less attractive of all, and Dave is the most attractive, but and Julie is the most intellect, because, you know, she's majoring in computer engineering. And then social ability again looks like Lisa is the most sociable, and Debbie is the least. And then you do, I mean, you know how this method works? It's very simple. You multiply weighted factor times each other. So how did you arrive at 401 is 5 times 9 plus 8 times 5, and 8 times 9 plus 8 times 10, 8 times 8, 10 times 10, you know, so you come up with total factor.
To go with Julie.
Yeah, so this is telling you to go with Lisa, you know, but realistically in life, so this is reasoning technique, you know, that goes. But, you know, I don't know where this person went with who, you know, so which one you would go with, you know. So this is telling you one, as I said, decision making is so... Pardon?
Why is this 401 or 3?
It is. So this technique is telling you, Lisa. Did you all watch that movie, Ben Steele? And he was an insurance. So he was trying to make a decision. Here came Polly. Remember that movie? Here came along Polly. And he was comparing Polly, which is totally different than his first girlfriend, risk assessment. So he said, oh, according to what his risk says, Polly shouldn't be, you know, the girl for me. So in life, you know, you gotta look, you have to be a...
What is the name of the movie?
Here came along Polly.
Here
came along Polly. Yeah, that's what Ben Steele. And it was a funny movie. He was an insurance, and he was an insurance guy, and you know, he used risk assessment trying to figure out, you know, which of these two. So as you see, decision making could be fun, but you could use some technique. But bottom line is you have to make a decision, have to live with it, but be aware of some of the situation, because none of these things matters. You know, if you end up marrying Lisa, you cannot, some of the decision is, as I said, you have to use, let's say, gut feeling also. You have to combine these things. So if this is Lisa and this person is not attracted to Lisa at all, you know, in a few years, no matter how intellectually Lisa is and she makes good money, but if there's no attraction, I don't know, you know, then you have a child there, and after a few years you get divorced and say, oh, I took the class with Professor Rojoy and he told me to use this technique, you know, I married you based on, no, you know, they're going to come and sue and say, you know, you gave me wrong advice, you know. So consider that decisions are ultimately made by you, and you have to be comfortable with that. Just know some of the techniques that are available to you. Make one that works for you and stay with it. And as I said, there are many other tools that can help you and help managers to make decisions. Forecasting, regression analysis, risk analysis. Good example of risk analysis was mentioned with that movie, Ben Stiller, you know, use risk analysis, figure out, you know, which. So you can do factor, what if solver. There are many decision tree optimization. Some of these techniques are more for technical decision making. So your daily, everyday decision, you know, you probably cannot sit down and spend so much time applying this technique to make some decision, some minor decisions. So you have to look at each situation and adapt and maybe use some of this technique, but you don't want to spend too much time in decision process. Then, as I said, there are decisions by intuitive. And then it's brain activity. Some of us are left side, and some of us, but the bottom line, what it worked for me, I think, is you have to look and make sure the decision you're making is, you're going to be comfortable with it, and you're going to be able to live with it. If you're not, if you don't feel good about it, even though the techniques tell you this is what to go, and that was a good example of choosing between 3 candidates for marriage. You know, if your gut feeling is telling you you're not going to be happy, you know, so you have to revise, because all, as I said, involve brain activities. If you're a left side brain, if you're a right side brain, you know, so your emotion plays a role. Some people, including me, I make more decisions. I have to be happy. I can't follow this logic. They said make a decision by your mind or by your heart. You know, so you have to follow your heart. You know, it says right here is intuitive decisions sometimes could be wrong, but you want to get feedback. And sometimes, you know, when you get feedback, you can improve your decision. But know the fact there is no right decision, there is no wrong decision. These are decisions that we make in everyday. Managers, students, we as human beings, we are making decisions every day. We just have to live with this decision. There is no right or wrong way of making decision. Sometimes people make decisions in team. I do this. You know, it's just like in class, I involve you. Some situation, especially I think managers should combine decision-making process rather than having one, like that president of the company said, okay, do or die, you know, I need this thing. So you got to adapt and you got to change and you have to try. Personally, I think what it works, try. Sometimes make intuitive decision and look and reassess and go back and see if your decision was good or wrong and where you went wrong. sometimes you need to involve teams, because teams, that's why I ask you to do individual project, and I ask you to do group project. Because in group project, you make decision by group, right? Because 5 brain is more active and more important, maybe 1 brain, because you have more feedback from your team. So there are some good or bad when you make decision in group. Then group decision brings to another dimension, decision making. But then you have to be aware of every decision making techniques have some pros and have some cons.